Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the weekly project call. It is Monday, February 11th, 2019. We've got updates coming to you from all across the Mozilla Project, but as is customary, we're going to start with Friends of Mozilla. Huge props to all the Mozillians, staff and volunteer contributors who participated in FOSDEM in Brussels over the first weekend in February. As speakers at the Mozilla Developer Room and beyond, we had speakers in the Rust Room, JavaScript, decentralization rooms, even the main stage, as well as those staffing our table where we had more than 1,000 common voice donations and sharing stickers, at least 2,500 given out, stickers and knowledge. You're too numerous to list here, but you absolutely rock. Big thanks to all of our speakers and coordinators at FOSDEM. Also, a special shout out to Brussels-based contributor Anthony Maton, who wrangled all the details of Mozilla's participation at FOSDEM. There's a link in the wiki page where you can see videos of many of the talks are now available. Again, a big round of applause to FOSDEM speakers, presenters, coordinators, and Anthony Maton. On to upcoming events. This week, Tuesday, February 12th, we have a meetup for Voice UX, where we're trying to foster and build the Voice UX community in the Bay Area. It's an opportunity for UX designers and product folks working on voice interfaces to meet and learn from each other. We'll have a live stream available, and Andre Natal and Dennis Yang will be speaking. On Wednesday, February 13th, we have the add-ons community meeting at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time in the ACE video room. And I think that's it for our upcoming events. With that, we'll move on to speakers, and our first speaker is Amy in San Francisco, talking about host organizations for the Mozilla Fellowship.
Hello. So I'm the Senior Program Officer on the Leadership Programs team at the Foundation, and what the Leadership Programs team does is we run fellowships and awards for leaders and organizations around the world. And what the fellowships are is really an opportunity for us to provide resources and tools, community and amplification to those building a more humane digital world. During their tenure, fellows use their skill sets in technology, in advocacy, in law, to design products, run campaigns, influence policy, and ultimately lay the groundwork for more open and inclusive internet. And Mozilla Fellows hail from a range of disciplines and geographies. They've been policymakers in Kenya, journalists in Brazil, engineers in Germany, privacy activists in the United States, and data scientists in the Netherlands. Fellows work on individual projects, but also collaborate on cross-disciplinary solutions to the internet's biggest challenges. So this is a collaborative fellowship environment, and some of the fellows are hosted within civil society organizations around the world. And right now, Mozilla is working for the next cohort of host organizations. So fellows embed their host organizations for 10 months, and where they collaborate with the orgs and work on research, advocacy efforts, strategic input, and more. Host organizations, those that we're looking for this year, should be working on initiatives that related to online privacy and security, openness, decentralization, digital inclusion, or web literacy. This year, we're particularly interested in organizations whose missions or projects align with the Foundation's impact goal of better machine decision-making, or ensuring artificial intelligence is developed with ethics, responsibility, and accountability in mind. So what I'm asking of you is to please refer to me or my team, or reach out to your contacts and organizations who might be interested in partnering with us for the 2019-2020 fellowship year. We'll be opening applications for the fellows themselves later this spring, and you can see the link for the call for applications for host organizations in the wiki. So thank you very much, and back to you.
Thank you, Amy. Next up, we have Javi here in Mountain View talking about Global Diversity CFP Day.
Great. Hey, everybody. Javi here from Developer Outreach. And I just wanted to let you know about Global Diversity CFP Day, which is happening on March 2nd in countries and cities all over the world. This is a grassroots, volunteer-driven, globally distributed, free one-day workshop that helps support and inspire first-time public speakers to craft and submit a talk proposal to a conference with an open call to papers and a code of conduct that aligns well with Mozilla's code of conduct and values. So we will be hosting Global Diversity CFP Days in several Mozilla offices in Vancouver, in Berlin, in Toronto, and Mozilla staff, volunteers, and tech speakers will be participating in other workshops in other countries and communities around the world. This is the second year this event has taken place. Last year, over 1,000 people participated in close to 60 cities and dozens of countries. This year, we anticipate even more participation. There are more locales. Global Diversity CFP Day grew out of a regional conference's effort to bring new people on stage and mentor and support them. The organizers of this globally distributed event have created content, template, and curriculum to ensure that everybody has information about submitting a talk, where they can submit, how to create a deck, how to write a bio, and where to look for conferences that map to what they want to speak about. If you're interested in participating, the developer outreach team has limited budget to fund events where Mozillians are participating as organizers, mentors, or facilitators. This is the sort of thing that would cover the cost of pizzas or coffee or a lunch for a small group. If you're interested in applying for funding, there's a link direct to the developer events form. It's posted on the wiki page. There's also a link to globaldiversitycfpday.com where you can see more information about the event and where it's taking place. And you're welcome to join in and participate. And thank you so much for listening. Have a great Monday wherever you are. And feel free to ping me on Slack or email if you have additional questions. Thanks a lot. See ya.
Thank you, Javi. Sounds like a great opportunity for first-time speakers. Let's see. Up next, we have me coming to you with the weekly Firefox update. Firefox 65 is our current stable release in market. With 65, you have an easy way to block third-party content that tracks you around the web, and you can control how much of your online activity gets stored and shared between websites. There's also an updated language section and preferences, where it's easy to install multiple language packs and order language preferences for Firefox and websites without having to download a locale-specific build. And in Firefox 65, you have a revamped task manager found at About: Performance or under the Other menu in the main Firefox menu. Along with energy usage, it now reports memory usage for your tabs and add-ons. So if you've got a misbehaving tab, you can load up About Performance and figure out what's going on there. Firefox 66 is in the beta channel, and it moves to stable on March 19th. Beta 7 is due out tomorrow. And if all goes well with testing, 66 is going to deliver tracking protection enabled by default for some users and blocking of video autoplay for all users. Firefox 67 is in the nightly channel, and it moves to stable on May 14th. Over the last week, we've seen about 460 bugs fixed, including some notable ones. Web render's been enabled for 2 more architectures on nightly builds. Firefox now provides visual feedback when a password field is autofilled. The Pocket New Tab experience, the new Pocket New Tab experience has been enabled for nightly users. Return to AMO has been turned on. Screenshots upload has been disabled as per the planning, and some documentation went out on that in the last few weeks. And Screenshots now has a keyboard shortcut, Control-Shift-S. So this makes it really handy to capture those screenshots. Last but not least, you now have an option to save passwords in private browsing mode. That's it for the Firefox update this week. Next up, we have Liz coming to us remotely with the weekly marketing update.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great, awesome. So in case you missed it this morning, the foundation published an open letter to Facebook, basically asking them to pull their weight in the fight against misinformation by following through with a commitment they'd already made in increasing ad transparency. In marketing, we've continued to work really closely over the past year and a half with legal and policy to put pressure on Facebook in any way we can. You might remember last year when the Cambridge Analytica news came out, we paused advertising and then actually left Facebook as a company. And that carries on. So anytime Facebook appears in the news for violating user trust, which recently has been quite often, we remind people through our channels about our Facebook container extension because it's a concrete example of how we're fighting for users. The last time we did that, right after the Project Atlas news came out a couple weeks ago, a tweet we did about our Facebook container extension referencing the recent news reached 70% more people than any of our other tweets this month because so many people are excited about the container extension and shared it. And that helps people understand how Firefox is private and on their side. We also took on whether or not we all have the moral duty to quit Facebook in general in the most recent episode of IRL, which is focused on the surveillance economy. So definitely check that out. And even when Danelle went in front of Congress last week to testify about the importance of net neutrality, we had the chance again to remind folks that it's kind of nice that we're being asked to testify because of the things we're doing for people instead of being made to testify because of the bad stuff we're doing to people, which other tech companies like Facebook have had to do recently. So we do all this because it's not enough to say that Firefox fights for you. We're constantly looking for ways to show it. In part because that definitely helps increase brand perception and download consideration, but also because it's the right thing to do. And that's it for me this week for marketing.
Thank you, Liz.
Thanks,
Thank you for the marketing update. Next up, we have Ali coming to us from San Francisco with the Emerging Technologies Weekly Update.
Hello. So I have a few updates from Emerging Technologies. The first is that we had an MDN Product Advisory Board meeting in New York on January 17th and 18th. The MDN Product Advisory Board is a group of browser vendors and others who care about the web who've joined together to help the MDN team make sure that we're prioritizing our content and features on MDN. We discussed a lot of things, including the ongoing browser compatibility project on MDN, where we make sure that we collaborate with other browser vendors such as Microsoft and Google to make sure that all of our web compatibility information for developers is the most up-to-date it can be. And we also talked about a conference Mozilla has been hosting for 4 years. This will be our 5th in September, called ViewSource. That is being changed around a bit to be a joint effort between the Product Advisory Board members who are Microsoft, Google, Samsung, the W3C, and Buku, who is a web services company. So we'll all be jointly hosting ViewSource this year and really diving more deeply into the under the hood pieces of what browser vendors are trying to bring to the web and how we, specifically Mozilla, are trying to keep it open for everyone. The meeting notes for the advisory board are always public. They're hosted in our GitHub repo, and if you go into the meeting notes, you can click on a repo and actually see everything in the meeting. It's pretty long. We talk about a lot of things. Other thing was the 2nd and 3rd of February, we participated in FOSDEM, as was mentioned in Friends of Mozilla. We just wanted to shout out that we had quite a few Mozilla Tech speakers presenting at FOSDEM, as well as Mitchell Baker gave a keynote on Floss the Internet in the Future, which is really great and you should watch. And then also we had Brian Cantrill, who's a very well-known systems programmer, give a talk investigating whether operating systems should be written in Rust. So it's a talk sort of thinking broadly about what's the definition and history of operating systems and observations on system software. Spoiler, he came to the conclusion that we should rewrite most low-level parts of a computer's software stack in Rust. So if it's something you're interested in, you can check out that talk. It's pretty good. And that is our ET headlines for this week.
Thank you for that update. Next up, we have Andrew coming to us via recording with the Weekly Minute.
It's time for the Mozilla IT Minute, where we tell you all the things Mozilla IT is doing to empower Mozillians everywhere in their mission to keep the web a global public resource, open and accessible to all. Let's talk about a serious issue that affects us all: zombies. Not that kind of zombie. Have you ever shown up to a conference room only to find that the room is booked for a recurring meeting but there's no one around? Well, that, by definition, is a zombie meeting. The vendor-provided software Event Board, which we use for room booking, can detect and remediate these types of problems by sending gentle reminders to the owners of recurring meetings to see if the space is still needed. We'll be experimenting with this feature in the Mozilla Europe offices from February 25th to April the 5th, and then share the results of that experiment with you after it's closed. Finally, the last update in this very short minute is an update from the Connected Workplaces team. They've been hard at work trying to improve the overall user experience and searchability in our internal wiki, mana.mozilla.org. If you'd like to give feedback on Mana in general, a short survey is available at the link below. As always, all the links from this short video are available on the Mozilla Wiki, and that's the minute.
Thank you for the weekly minute update. I've reloaded and it looks like another event came onto our calendar, so I'm scrolling back up to share with you that Indie Web Camp Austin 2019 is happening February 23rd and 24th at the Capitol Factory, downtown Austin, Texas. This is 2 days with independent web creators of all kinds, graphic artists, designers, UX engineers, coders, hackers, meeting up to share ideas and create and improve their personal websites and build upon each other's creations. Be a part of advancing and growing the open independent web with the latest decentralized web technologies. A link is available in the wiki, and there's also an RSVP link. With that, we move on to our introductions. The first introduction's coming to us from Portland, Oregon, with Selena.
Hello, we're in a different room. I'm introducing Andy Grover. He is going to be working for me on networking. He's a senior staff engineer based in Portland, Oregon. He comes to us from Red Hat and also Intel, where he worked on networking and file system stuff, including some stuff in Rust on Linux. And he wanted to actually say something as well.
I just wanted to say hi. I'm really happy to be here and get a chance to meet everybody. Looking forward to that. And when I'm not working on code, I'm in a band. I play bass. So you should come out to see me March 14th at the Big Legrowski here in Portland.
Awesome. Thank you.
Next up, we have Julie coming to us from Portland as well with another introduction.
Yes, I'm in Portland today here to introduce and welcome Betty Fleming to our team. She is the newest member of the Firefox PMO, and she's a senior program manager, and she'll be supporting Phoenix.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome,
I'm very
Betty.
excited to be here.
And last but not least, we've got Sylvester coming to us from Paris with an introduction. Sylvester, sorry. Do we have Sylvester? Far away. It takes light a little while to get here. Oh. Is this for me or you?
Bonjour, I'm super excited today to introduce Bastien. Bastien has been working for us as a contractor for the last 2 years. He joined 2 weeks ago. Bastien is working from Grenoble into the French Alps, so he is surrounded by mountain and snow currently. Bastien will work in the release and quality management team. He's going to work on some tooling for static analysis and code coverage and those kind of things. So please welcome Bastien at Mozilla. Thanks.
Welcome, Bastien. Quick reload to see if anything else has come onto the list. It doesn't look like it. So with that, we are all wrapped up for the week. See you next Monday, and until then, keep on rocking the free web.